More disturbing details are coming to light about accused Jeffrey Epstein's secret storage lockers. We've talked about this before, but now we're talking pornography, lab results, slave manuals, and by the way, the most chilling of all, it is reported these storage units were never searched by authorities. We may now have an idea about all this material that was stored in at least one unit.
I was on the plane and I was like looking around to make sure no one was looking at me.
Do you remember who was in it?
No.
He's not saying.
Okay.
More disturbing details are now emerging from the shadows of Jeffrey Epstein's secret storage empire. We've covered this before, but what's coming to light now goes far beyond what anyone expected. We're talking about pornography, lab results, and documents described as slave manuals. But perhaps the most chilling revelation of all? According to reports, these storage units were never once searched by authorities. And now, for the first time, we may finally be getting a clearer picture of exactly what was locked away inside at least one of those units. At last, federal authorities have reportedly cracked open those long-sealed safes hidden inside Epstein's private warehouses. And what's coming out is explosive. Fresh emails are allegedly surfacing, and the name attached to some of them is Ellen DeGeneres. According to these claims, she allegedly served as a fixer for powerful figures, reportedly facilitating access to a young Justin Bieber, passing him to members of the royal family, in exchange for a home in the United Kingdom. Is secretly the king's long hidden daughter. Some corners of the internet are now saying the UK may have always been her real destination. Before drawing any conclusions, here's what we can verify. Ellen DeGeneres did leave the United States and spent more than a year living on a farm in the English countryside. She and Portia de Rossi later purchased a $27 million mansion there. The move was eventually described as temporary when she returned to the US. On its own, a celebrity relocating abroad isn't unusual. People do it all the time. But what caught the public's attention was the timing. During that exact same window, renewed discussions about Epstein's files began trending heavily across social media platforms, and users started piecing things together. One widely shared post claimed Ellen had fled America specifically because of the Epstein file conversations gaining momentum. That's a fan theory, not a legal conclusion. But when the same claim resurfaces repeatedly across different platforms, it takes on a momentum of its own. And the UK connection is precisely what turned this story into a wildfire. Epstein's documented ties to Prince Andrew shook the British monarchy for years. So when Ellen landed in the English countryside for an extended stay, whispers began. And they haven't fully stopped since.
A lot of people said she was mean, and I was maybe thinking that's one of the reasons she left.
No, I think being mean is a good boundary,
If you work for a strong woman, you should expect to be a little bit.
I don't call it a...
Especially when you're a strong woman in film, she's running a big production. Like, obviously, if one of the interns doesn't get coffee on time, you're going to have to just splash a bit of it on them just to sort of send a message.
Another viral tweet drew a direct line between Ellen's relocation to the UK and Epstein's well-documented royal network. But even before we get to Ellen's name appearing in those files, it's worth stepping back and looking at how young Justin Bieber was treated, out in the open, at the very beginning of his career. The Independent published a piece highlighting resurfaced footage showing Bieber being asked inappropriate questions as a minor, being physically touched on stage by adult celebrities, and directly stating on camera that he felt uncomfortable. At just 15 years old, he looked into a camera and said, "I feel uncomfortable right now. Why do you want to know that from a 15-year-old boy? That's pretty weird." He said it out loud, on camera, and nothing was done about it. Ellen DeGeneres' show was one of the most prominent platforms young Bieber appeared on during those formative years. Her show amplified his rise to global fame. She promoted him, she celebrated him, she gave him exposure that most young artists could only dream of. But today, people are going back through that footage with a critical eye, asking whether young stars were genuinely protected within those elite media ecosystems. This conversation has expanded far beyond Epstein. Now it's about who operates inside those elite circles, who had access, and who truly had the power to protect the young people inside them. And when Diddy's arrest in New York hit the news cycle, those old Bieber clips resurfaced almost immediately. The timing alone sent social media into a frenzy. People started asking whether young stars had been quietly passed through powerful networks long before anyone thought to question it. And then geography becomes part of the equation. Ellen lived in Montecito, California, and Montecito is not just any town. It's where Oprah Winfrey has her estate. It's where Prince Harry and Meghan Markle chose to settle. It's where some of the world's most influential and wealthy individuals converge in relative silence. Viral posts noted that these elite communities don't just live near each other, they interact socially, professionally, and financially. Proximity isn't proof of anything criminal, but it is exactly how power structures operate. Epstein's influence was never solely about wealth. It was about access, the ability to place people in the same rooms, earn the trust of powerful names, and quietly broker connections between the world's elite. So when the same individuals keep appearing in Montecito, in London, in royal circles, and across Hollywood, curiosity doesn't stay curiosity for long. And then a property-related claim added yet another layer. Brexit figurehead Nigel Farage alleged that Nick Candy had sold a London flat to Epstein for £39 million. Selling real estate is not a crime. But when London property transactions, royal adjacency, and Epstein's name keep appearing in the same paragraph, people stop skimming and start reading closely. The real friction here isn't that Ellen DeGeneres has been charged with anything in connection with Epstein. She has not. The deeper tension is this: public trust in elite media and elite social circles is fracturing. And when Epstein-related accusations began flooding Ellen's social media pages, the intensity of the reaction took many by surprise. Some viral posts escalated to extreme and fabricated territory, including deeply disturbing and unfounded cannibalism allegations, with one widely shared post labeling her Hollywood's most prolific cannibal.
Jeffrey Epstein and his Hollywood elite circle have been exposed as cannibals. Not rumours, not whispers. Hard evidence from the files. Babies in fridges. Jerky as code. Rituals that will make your blood run cold.
Why are so many people suddenly suspicious? The answer is simple. The public is re-watching old footage through entirely new eyes. They are seeing a teenage Justin Bieber say on camera that he felt uncomfortable, and realizing no adult in that room stepped in to protect him. They are watching powerful celebrities joke in ways that now feel deeply inappropriate. They are connecting those patterns to the broader culture of elite protection that defined Epstein's operation for decades. And they are asking a question that has no comfortable answer. Does Hollywood operate inside its own closed circuit, one where accountability never quite reaches those at the top? To be clear, there are no proven criminal charges linking Ellen DeGeneres to Epstein, but that's not what this conversation has ever been purely about. It is about the structural reality that powerful elites often shield one another, that young stars can find themselves absorbed into systems that offer fame without genuine protection. Some commentators even looped back to the Pizzagate era, pointing out that after those conspiracy theories first erupted years ago, Ellen famously distributed pizza to celebrities live at the Oscars. At the time, it was received as a lighthearted, spontaneous moment of fun. But today, in the context of renewed Epstein file discussions, that memory is being filtered through a much darker interpretation by conspiracy-oriented communities across the internet.
Fresh, unredacted 2026 Epstein file dumps deliver the gut punch confirmation. Ellen ate her ex-partner Anne Heche, piece by cursed piece, after the actress was eliminated in that blatantly suspicious car crash while she was closing in.
Let's return to the UK angle, because England in this story is not simply a backdrop of rolling countryside and quiet villages. It is royal territory. It is old money. It is the landscape most deeply scarred by the Prince Andrew scandal, which shook the foundations of the British monarchy and still echoes in public memory. So when Ellen relocated there for more than a year, the speculation didn't settle. It grew louder with every passing week. Then came a viral post that added a genuinely unexpected dimension. The claim that Ellen DeGeneres shares distant royal bloodlines, cited as the 15th cousin of Kate Middleton through lineage traced back to Sir Thomas Fairfax and Agnes Gascoigne in the 1400s, and the 19th cousin twice removed of Queen Elizabeth through King Edward III of England. These are genealogical claims with no verified legal weight, but in the current information climate, they land differently. Of intense public scrutiny over elite scandals, people notice. So here's the real question, stated plainly. Is Ellen's move to the UK simply a lifestyle choice, or is it a reaction to something the public is only beginning to understand? Powerful networks in entertainment, politics, and royal circles do not operate in the open. They move quietly. They transact in private. What reignited this entire story was a collision of timing. Epstein file discussions trending simultaneously with old Bieber clips resurfacing, Ellen living in England, and the Prince Andrew scandal still without full resolution. When that many powerful names begin overlapping in the public consciousness at once, people stop calling it a coincidence. And when institutions consistently fail to provide full and transparent answers, the public imagination rushes in to fill the silence. When a 15-year-old Justin Bieber said openly on camera that he felt uncomfortable and no adult in that room intervened, that moment did not disappear with time. It lodged itself in the public memory, and now it's being recalled with new urgency. So here is where things stand. Ellen DeGeneres has returned to the United States. Epstein's files continue to generate outrage. Royal connections continue to provoke unease. And Bieber's old interviews continue to disturb viewers who are watching them for the first time with fresh perspective. The core of this conversation was never about courtroom evidence. There are no criminal charges claiming Ellen introduced Bieber to members of the royal family. There is no court ruling connecting her to Epstein's crimes. But what this conversation was always really about is trust. Why do the most powerful names in the world seem perpetually separated by no more than a single degree? Why are young celebrities treated as if they belong to the public, to the industry, to everyone except themselves? And why does genuine transparency become exponentially harder to access the higher you climb into elite circles? That tension is what keeps this story alive. So I'll leave you with the question that refuses to go away. Are people manufacturing connections that simply aren't there? Or are these social circles far more deeply intertwined than the public was ever supposed to discover? Because once that question is asked, it doesn't quietly disappear, and this story is far from finished.